idea of thinking and trying to manifest things. I believe that energy can bring about change in some sort of way, but do I believe that it's actual magic?
Yeah.
No. I don't. Sorry.
I mean, even in other cultures, they have like shaman, and in Africa, and for centuries they've practiced all type of spiritual stuff. So I don't really think we know if there's truth to that or not.
I do believe in miracles, but it's just also miracles is such a great word. And I do believe that there are miraculous things that happen, unexplained events that can happen, and changes that can happen that are just unexplained.
Right.
And that happens all the time. Like every single day, something like that happens somewhere to somebody. And I think that's also like it's a game of chance. Like they say 1 in 50 billion could happen. Well, you're the 1 in 50 billion.
Yeah.
Got to be somebody.
Got to be. Right? Somebody
Against
has to
all
be
odds.
Somebody has to be the supreme.
And I have been the recipient of miracles. I feel like a lot of my life has been miraculous and blissful and blessings and stuff like that. But that's only because those are the only words I have for it.
Right. I got you. All right.
Maybe we should try some spells, you guys.
No.
This is the perfect place, do you know?
Yeah, no.
Light as a feather, stiff as a board.
Right?
No. Of all the spells, that's like my fear, the scariest one. That movie, The Craft. Oh my God.
You know that's a show on Hulu as well.
Really?
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? Oh, I think you did. I think we did talk about that.
Yeah, it's in the second season. I still haven't caught up to the second season, but I did watch the first season.
Okay, well I'm gonna get into that.
Yeah,
when I get Hulu.
We're gonna have TV talk later on.
Oh, hey. I'm excited. I'm excited about this ghost talk right now. This is good. Because I always feel like I'm being tested by energies or spirits or whatever. And even though I talk about Mercury being in the Gatorade, I really feel like that sometimes. I really do. Like it's just some negative energy that's trying to test me in a way. I don't even know how to.
I read my horoscope every day.
Yeah.
But it's not so much that I have so much faith that it's true about me. It's just that you can sort of find inspiration anywhere. Mm-hmm. And the ideas behind it, the thoughts behind it. I'm like, okay, this is fine. I take it like I take anybody would come up to me and say, like, you need to do this and this and this and that. And I'm like, okay, thanks for sharing. I'm going to do what I want to do.
I feel like a lot of the things that we do and believe are just superstition. Mm-hmm. We call it religion and we call it, different things, but I think superstition is the better word for it. Well, they say the definition of superstition is other people's religion.
Right.
So
right.
For you, it's religion.
Yeah.
But for everybody else, it's superstition and vice versa. Just like like an accent. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, we don't have an accent. Well, yeah, we do have an accent, just not to us.
Right.
But to the people over there in England or the people down south, we have an accent.
Yes.
Everybody has an accent, but you always talk about it as on the outside.
Well, because we see ourselves as the default.
Right. Exactly.
That's what privilege. That's why a lot of people with privilege don't know they have privilege. They like everybody has the same experience as me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like I'm the average.
Exactly.
Then that's why people with privilege can't see the outside. Have you guys ever had your fortune read?
Yes.
I have not.
No, I have.
Actually, I'll tell you what I saw. This is true. When I was in grad school, I saw a psychic in Central Illinois. Her name was Greta Alexander. She's passed away. And she told me a lot of things that actually have come true. And she predicted stuff about people that were not in the room, that were in my life, and it came true. And some of them were on time frames. I'm not joking. She was struck by lightning and said she got the psychic abilities. And every year, St. Jude Hospital, they have one in Peoria, Illinois. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so one year on the telethon, I was working the telethon, and I was like, she was there, and she was having the thing. She's like, oh, if anybody calls right now, I'll give a psychic reading for blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. I'm like, I'll do it. So I was already there. I was like, this is where I can contribute. And I got a reading. And like she predicted when my friend Heidi was going to get married. She predicted when my friend Roz was going to get married. She predicted my friend Roz's son getting sick and why he was going to get sick. And then his father was going to come back into his life, and there was going to be a change in this paternal relationship. And this father came back to his life because his father gave up parental rights so that her new husband could become this adopted father.
Wow.
Told me when I predicted when I was going to have my big break.
Wow. Well, I had my fortune read too. My story's not as good as yours. Now I don't want to tell it.
Well, I feel like now that woman's dead, I'm like, I need to ask her some questions.
I know. I feel like I need to ask her
because I didn't believe her. I didn't believe her, and I'm like, okay, this is cool, this is fun. And I told all my friends, like, you gonna get married when you're 29, and you.
Wow.
And as it started happening, I'm like, I need to call this bitch.
Right.
But she was dead.
Okay.
All right, y'all. Let's go ahead and get in these topics.
All right, then.
News and noteworthy. The Shiznit.
Well, the internet's all abuzz with the whole Amber Geiger situation. She was found guilty of murder, not manslaughter, of fatally shooting her neighbor, Botham Jean. And that how do you guys feel about first of all, I feel like it should have been manslaughter. I don't feel like that she should have been convicted of murder, because for murder, you're supposed to be able to prove
it was premeditated
and to have some sort of what do you call it, intent or motive. Motive, means, and opportunity are three things that are needed to prove a murder case. So there was no motive, not even suggested or presented, as from what I could tell. So I don't even know why murder was offered up as one of the options for the jury, but it was. So it definitely should have been manslaughter. And then as far as the time that she got, a lot of people, mostly black people, are up in their feelings about it and thought it was, 10 years was too short of a time. I'm okay with the 10 years, personally. Not that, I'm not saying that man's life was only worth 10 years by any means. And I don't think that that's part of the justice system. You know what I mean? I don't think, because you can't put a price on somebody's life like that. So I don't think that that's what, that equals. But I do feel like, it's a weird situation, a weird story, but it does seem to be an accident. It seems weird, like something's missing or whatever. And we kept thinking that something else was going to come out, or more details, or there was an affair or something, but nothing ever did. It just looks like it was just this weird, freakish accident that she made some very horrible, very wrong decisions, but they were still accidents, but she should pay for them. But I don't know about, the rest of her entire life. So that's how I feel about it. Let's hear how you guys feel about it.
I thought the sentence should have been twice as long.
Okay, 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Accident or not, I do agree with you about the murder versus manslaughter thing,
right.
which would have changed all that anyway. She wouldn't have got 20 years for manslaughter.
No, not manslaughter. No.
But I think she needed a firmer sentence, because I think she did lie about the details afterwards to try to save her butt. And I think that the police community rallied around her, because that's what they generally do in the blue. And my brother's a police officer, and he's guilty of that too. And this is what happens. And it's the reason why so many black people are in an uproar is because our community has just suffered so much at the hands of the police. And to have a police person in this position, to be quite honest, I was expecting her to get off. I was expecting her to get off, and there was going to be more uproar about that. But she didn't. And I was like, oh, well, I feel like justice might be being served this time around. D.L. Hughley had a great thing on the Instagram this week that he posted where they showed she got 10 years, but a guy who shot a police dog got 45. So that seems to me to be not a fair system, actually. Even if that person shot that police dog on purpose.
Right.
This guy was just an innocent victim at home in his house.
Yeah, we talk about that all the time on this show. Well, maybe not all the time, but lately, it's been a trending topic with us.
Well, it's become a lot of stories.
Yeah.
Right.
It's been in our community our whole lives.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
So, and Didi, what you got?
Black people and police have never really had a great relationship. I can't think of a time when the relationship was ever good. So just this story in general is just already going to be eggshells in general. I do think that there's something missing. It's not the whole story, but just taking it at face value, if there was no motive, if it was just an accident, then no, it shouldn't have been murder. But I do think that she got the proper time for what she did. If the story goes the way that she said, which I'm not exactly sure if that's all the way true or not. I'm not all the way in on it because I'm just like really over black people getting killed and murdered and everybody just acting like, oh, it's okay. It's not fair. We talk about that is the most important thing that I think that we talk about on our show often is that the difference is we see how one lady was trying to get her daughter in school and she got like triple the time as somebody who actually committed fraud. And now we got a police officer who, she's getting 10 years, but just like Pip said, the man shot a police dog and he got 45. So it's just bigger injustices, and I'm just like, I'm tired. I'm sad. The life, like you said, the life is not coming back. It's no amount of time that's worth that.
No, there's not. There's not. And and I'm not saying like people gotta be happy with the verdict. I think it was a fair verdict. I am happy with the outcome. I think it was just. I think justice was served. I'm okay with it. But I was kind of amazed at how quick we went from, she's gonna walk to, that's not enough time. 10 years is like that's like, you know what I mean? Like a minute ago, you didn't think that she was gonna even get convicted. But then she got convicted, and then now you mad because it's 10 years. And like I said, you have a right to your opinion. You have a right to not to think that she deserves longer or whatever. I just was amazed at how fast it went from Well,
it's also because people know 10 years is not really 10 years. I don't know what Texas penal system is like, although it's probably, I would guess actually Texas is harder. But, she's also a police officer, even though a former police officer.
Yeah, former, right.
But she still has that going in, and I think that the system might work in her favor, although the prisoners might not.
Right, exactly. And I would like to say to give the police credit this time around, or at least the police department. You said they rallied around her. They kind of did, but they kind of dropped her real quick too, and she got fired pretty fast compared to like normally. A lot of times, well, I wouldn't say normally. I say it oftentimes in these cases in the past, the police officer never did get fired. And sometimes they go to trial, they get exonerated, and then they go right back to work.
Sure.
She got fired before her trial even came up, like very quickly on compared to most, situations. So that was a surprise too.
Which made me think that there was something going on.
Well,
like
there was some inconsistency
that
the police department saw. There was like, this don't quite add up, and we can't justify this.
So that's why I thought, I'm like, oh,
well, she didn't follow procedure. She didn't call for backup. She did have other non-lethal,
weapons she could have used. She went straight for the kill shot, like immediately. Like she shot him dead in the heart, in the chest, like bam, bam, like wow, And to one other thing I want to speak to is there's a lot of talk about how she didn't know that was her place. How she didn't. Well, you know what? I don't know if these people have never lived in apartments, but I've lived in apartments where
I've gone to the
that happened very, very often. Even small apartments. Like I'm thinking of this one place I lived. As a matter of fact, well, no, it wasn't the last, but it was one place I lived. It was only 4 units. Only 4 units, but people from visiting other people, and even sometimes people who live there, would walk into one of the other units by mistake very, very often. I'm talking several times a week. This would happen.
Yeah.
Several times a week, especially the last 2 units. They would always, because the very, very last unit, the brother-in-law of the owner, or brother of the owner, he was some relation to the owner. He lived in that unit, and he used to sell clothes. That was like his side hustle. He would sell clothes out of his apartment, mostly women clothes. So a lot of women would come there he had like these deals or whatever, and they would come to see this guy and buy clothes. And my godfather lived in the unit before his, the third one. And like I said, it happened often that people would just walk in my godfather's house. We'd be sitting there chilling with the screen door, and the door open, the screen door, because it's, getting a breeze or whatever. And people would just walk in and say, oh, sorry, wrong house. Like, so much.
It happens.
So much.
Even me being a housekeeper, I go to so many different apartments and homes. Well, sometimes I go to the wrong door. Sometimes I go to the wrong floor. It happens.
And if
It
you're
happens.
distracted,